Hey guys, welcome back to another time lapse. This time introducing Don Crocleone. Don Crocleone started out as a cartoony figure, a Pippi, as you will. A very colorful, cartoony character. Initial idea was to make him the Pippi of the underground. So what we end up doing is giving him a big ass coat, some nice chains, some nice blings, some nice rings. It's based on 1930s, 1950s gangsters down in New York. And as you all can see, the initial drawing looks a whole lot different than what it ends up being. This is because the purpose of this drawing was not for my clothing brand. It was for a contest of sorts. But I ended up really liking the idea and the concept, and as I was working in teams for the clothing brand, I had a dog. I already had a dog and already had an owl, and I always like to work in sets of trees, so I was really enjoying this piece here. So I figured, why not use this for my clothing brand as well? Here you'll see something completely different than I usually work with soaked. You'll see lots of colors here in a cartoony feel, which is not something I go for with a clothing brand. It's all very digital as well, which is something different compared to the clothing brand, where I like to go more detailed and realistic with most of the pieces. Here you can see me make some notes. That's something I usually do in my process, as in what I still want to change, because it's probably like the next day now, and I need to remember what I had to change or adjust. Here you see me turning it off and on again. Oh, what do I need to do? What do I need to fix? It's probably the rings and the bling and the chains and stuff, because it doesn't look polished yet. Lots of rendering, adding some depth and highlights, shadows here and there. For me, like the initial illustration is kind of done. It's all finishing touches now, which usually take the most time. The thing is, most people don't really know what my style actually is, and I actually love drawing in color. But because most people know my drawings from my clothing brand and not from my other work, it usually surprises them. I do lots of drawings like this, but these usually don't get shared with my friends. These are for a whole other community that I am building. But yeah, I believe we're coming to an end here for the cartoony style, and I already started drawing in the soaked style, as you would say. As you can see with the bold black and white linings, and you have a little bit of the undertone of the original drawing I still had. But having the base down, I can quickly adjust and start shading it. Here you can actually see the process of a bold black and white drawing come to life. It's a lot of push and pull, really. Here we can see I'm adding lots of shadows, which I eventually will cut out in pure black and whites. I really like the idea of the stripes here on the coat. Going back to the reference. I'm really enjoying the texturing in these. It's always a challenge because it's pure black and white, no gray tones, and you'll see like the face of a frog is very detailed. It has lots of texture, which you'll probably see pop in right here. And I do that on another file. I'm using a iPad that's pretty old, and I'm pretty much limited to my layers here at this point. So what I end up doing is usually create another file and import like a raw PNG and start drawing on that, and then I import it back into the file I'm working on. So this is what you'll see here for the frog's face. The technique I used for the coat, for the fur, is basically like stamping. So I'm using a textured brush, which is full black and white, and then I start adding texture, and then remove texture and add texture, and you really want to layer it to give the effect of depth. Creating bigger dots or stamps in the back really helps that feeling of depth. It's wild to see how much my style has changed over the years. I used to focus on realism, trying to get every shadow, every proportion just right, and thought that was the goal, which was a lot of fun and a big learning curve. I used to draw lots of eyes, faces, everything like that, just to push. But in the end, I realized art is more than realism, and I realized it's not that hard to copy something that is already there. Then I got into concept art, still detailed, but now it was telling stories, worlds, characters, vibes, and it started to feel more alive. I really fell in love with concept art. And then after that, I leaned more into stylization, pushing shapes, breaking rules, and I stopped making things look real. And I started making them mine and not. My style used to be simpler. Now it's more complex, more layered. There's more intention behind the chaos. I know what lines to push and I know what lines to pull. And it's always a fun puzzle for me to solve. And honestly, I can even see my job as a graphic designer started leaking into the drawings. The layouts, the contrast, and the structure, it all kind of sneaks in. And it's funny looking back. Every phase had a purpose, and every version of my art helped me shape the art style that I've got today. It's an art style that's ever evolving. I believe next year it still will be different than this year, and I think that's because I keep pushing myself and keep challenging myself to do new things. Next up, I believe I want to go more into illustrations with color. I've been doing some word building for some of the designs I did, and I already have a big concept in my mind that I want to draw out and show you guys. I want to tell the story of Roxy and Noah some more. And I believe I've been influenced by old drawings of mine and old ideas of mine already. And I'm so excited to talk more about it. But for now, this is Don Cleon. Hope you guys enjoyed the speed paint and this little voiceover. Let me know down in the comments if you want to hear more about the story of Roxy and Noah. I would happily talk about it some more.